We're going to talk to Leslie in the car because we we have a captive audience here. Now, if you catch me with a southern accent on this tape, it's because Leslie's accent is contagious. Your mother told me that when you were little, you were a sleepwalker.
Yeah, I did.
And she says that you drew on the walls when you were sleepwalking.
I don't think I did it a whole bunch of times. I think just like one time in particular that I did get up in the middle of the night. I had just got like this new pack of crayons, the big pack, like the 64 pack for school, and I don't know why, but I did write on every wall. It was like all over it. Just drew pictures and stuff. I do remember her making me clean it off too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, what were you drawing then?
I was just like 5 or 6. I don't know. I think I just walked around the wall and drew, like just kept walking and just drew. I don't remember actually what I draw, flowers and stuff.
What was the first thing you ever made? Do you remember the first thing you ever made?
With clay?
Yeah.
Like when I was little?
No, not clay. Just anything. The first artwork you ever did.
Just a Play-Doh. I remember Mom keeping something I made out of Play-Doh when I was little. Like I think I tried to sculpt a little person or something.
Yeah.
And she still has it, I think. But just like, that's probably the first thing.
And so, I know that you do animals really well. And do you think that is, I know your father's is he a botanist?
He's a botanist, and I've just always been really into nature and always taught us all about nature. When we did things on the weekends, we'd go outside, or go to the lake a lot, and he just always was teaching us about different animals and birds, and it just was always a big part of our lives growing up. Nature was.
Yeah.
And always how to treat animals was really important to my dad and Mom, to teach us how to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I loved your story about the pig. I mean, the pig abused in your artwork a lot.
I love pigs. I don't know what that is, but we did have a baby pig.
At your grandmother's
At my grandma's house, and we fed it with a bottle and wrapped it in a blanket, and we just loved it. So I don't know what the pig thing is, and I recognize now animals reoccurring in my work, but I don't really, know exactly why.
Yeah.
Just the birds and pigs seem to show up more.
Yeah, and the birds? Do you have any idea?
I don't know about the birds. That's one of the things my dad always taught us about was birds. Like we knew, I could tell every kind of bird that landed in the bird feeder. I could tell you what kind it was, and like when I was little.
And the sounds? You knew the sounds of birds? Your father did?
Yeah, he did. I don't know, maybe it was something that made me close with him. That was a connection.
Yeah. And snakes, too.
I just think that snakes, I just always found them fascinating and neat. Never was really afraid of them. I wasn't afraid to pick one up or anything.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what the snakes is. It's just fun, too, to do the snakes.
So, but were you always an artist? You were married young and you had children young. So when did you really start doing artwork?
I don't know. I never really considered myself an artist until other people started maybe paying attention to my work. I never even thought about it that way. It was just something I enjoyed doing. And I started making Pokemon for the kids when they were little because like the toys hadn't come out yet. And so I just made those Pokemon for the kids. But the art part of it, I don't know where that line is. A lot of times I still don't feel like.
Wait a minute, you made Pokemon for the kids?
That's like, that's what I started making. So.
Out of what?
Polymer clay.
Really?
Yeah. And there was like 101 Pokemon when it first came out. So
really?
We couldn't find the toys, and we probably couldn't afford them whenever they were that small. So I made them for the kids. And that was the first thing. But so far as the artwork, I just kept on making things after that, make stuff for friends. And
what kind of stuff did you make?
Just like little nativities and things like that, or made a lot of little turtles in the beginning, but I never when I started making things just for myself and stuff that I like, it seemed like that was when people thought it was more artistic or something, I guess.
And you had a hard time believing that, huh?
Yeah, I still do a lot of times. I do. I do believe I never realized that other people couldn't see what an animal. If you've ever seen an animal, what it looks like an elephant or something, you know, it has a trunk and the big ears, and that's what makes it an elephant. So I know that if I do that in the clay, it'll look like an elephant.
But there's a lot more in your work that you don't see. I don't know that you recognize.
Probably, I don't know that I do.
There's a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of emotion, but you don't see it, but you don't.
I mean, I know sometimes that I'm working through emotion
But you don't think about it when you're doing it.
not very much. I can usually see the end piece of what I want to make and don't realize till it's finished that, oh, I understand why I made that like it is, because maybe I was upset about this or that, and it.
But why you're making it, you don't usually think about it.
Not very much, no. It just depends. Sometimes I can sit down and just start making something and that's what comes out, but other times I see it really clear what it's going to be.
Well, so how do the Carney people work into this?
I always felt bad for people that were separated from the norm in some way, or
And you sympathize with them? You felt
yes,
that way yourself?
Yes, I felt that way myself, yeah, a lot.
Why is that? I mean, what made you feel separate?
I don't know. I just always felt kind of different, and I had ADD and didn't know in school, so I think maybe that might have had something to do with it. And I have a son that's very different from where he grew up, and seeing people give him a hard time, and I just always felt sorry for anyone that was picked on or singled out, and it just bothers me. And I just wanted to do something just to celebrate those differences instead of. So I made up some Carney people and just tried to pull some from people I know. Just kind of evolved, and then in 2003, I just really felt like I needed to try to take myself seriously. I didn't have too much to lose. And there was a show in Louisville at the Kentucky Museum of Art and Design, and they did this polymer clay show. And I saw it online, and so I sent an email and asked if I could apply some work, you know, if I could submit some work. And they said they pretty much wrote back and said they were sure that they would look at my pictures, but that they didn't want like plate covers and stuff like that, and pens and things like covered pens. And so I told them I thought I knew what that they were looking for, and I would appreciate if I could just send some images in. And there were people there that I'd seen in books like Nan Roche and Jeff Dever and Kathleen Dewey. A bunch of really big people were in this show, so I really thought it was just a shot in the dark. But I sent a mask there that I had made, a red mask, and Nan Roche ended up buying the mask.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she ended up buying that mask, and it just blew me away. I couldn't believe it. She was a really big influence on me in the first. She was.
Now, that's 2003, so when did you first get involved with guilds, and when did you meet Judy Belcher?
I didn't meet Judy until after, well, yeah, it was after that I met Judy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I had been to Shrine-Mont a couple of years before Judy came.
Is that
I
right?
met her there.
huh.
And
So you've been in a number of books. You've taught in Spain, and where else?
Spain, I've been to England 2 times, and most of the rest just in the States. I'm going to Germany this year. That's the only times that I've been out of the country to teach.
Yeah. And are you wholesaling? Is that what you do, or do you?
Just the first wholesale show I did was last year at the Acre Show, and I did get like 9 galleries. I had 11. I ended up doing 9 galleries, and it was a really different experience making a whole lot at once for me. never been under the pressure to get a lot done like that. And it was difficult.
Yeah.
It was good though. I'd like to go do it again. I had a couple of reorders, so that was good.
Yeah. But do you do clay because you can't not do clay, or do you do it for the money? Do you do why?
Not the money. I think because I can't not do it. What you said. I think really it's just I have a compulsion to have it in my hand, even if I'm not making something. Sometimes I don't do well sitting still with nothing to do, and that's I always have ideas of things I want to make, and I find it challenging to get those things out of my head into clay, and it's just fun for me.
Yeah. And we were talking this week about how people approach their work, and honestly, the idea, you said that when you start a piece of work, you know how it's going to end up.
I can see it in my head. I have a vision of exactly what I want it to look like, but sometimes it takes me a little bit longer to get there. I have to work through it,
But you can see it in your head.
Yeah, I can see in my head exactly what I want it to look like. But now I may have to make 3 of them before I get it to look like that.
Right. And do you usually make multiples of things, or is it you have an inspiration, you make it, and you're done with it?
I usually don't make multiples of stuff, and that was what was a little bit different for me.
Oh, and wholesaling.
Yeah, because I intended for people to just take the carnies at random, like the little carnival people just take whichever ones I sent them, but they turned that people wanted specific ones and not, so I didn't end up that way.
Was that hard for you to make like 2 or 3 of this? And
it was just boring, and I had a hard time keeping focus.
Yeah.
And it seemed a whole lot more like work because it was.
But you would do it again?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Just to have the income, and I love the idea that someone thinks my stuff's nice enough to put it in a nice gallery story. Yeah. That's such a huge compliment.
Yeah.
I did this pig lamp a long time ago, and I did it over one of those really big lamps.
Yeah.
Or not lamp, but a really big light bulb, and I really liked that piece, and it was the first thing I ever made.
Was that the flying carpet one?
This one was, I sold it in a show that I did at the St. James Art Fair. It was like the first art fair I ever did, I guess. But it was just a lamp, and I had a pig. It was of a pig with a little hat on, and it had a cat on the back of it. And it's the first time I ever used that stamp, the Damn Everything But the Circus stamp.
Oh, yeah.
And I really liked that piece, and I sold it at the art show. But I don't pine away after stuff that I've sold it. A lot of people I know have a hard time
letting go.
Sell a piece.
Yeah.
I don't really get too attached to them that way. And then I made a doll, and she just has one eye, and she's so cute. I just love her. Everybody else pretty much thinks she's hideous. I saw a lady pick it up and look at it at this art fair. It's Synergy, actually. At the second Synergy, I took it. And I saw this look on her face that was just like disgusted. But I love that doll. I don't know. It's just funny to me.
You have a warped sense of humor. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Always?
My whole family's always had kind of a twisted, sarcastic sense of humor.
Yeah. And the Damn Everything But the Circus, where does that come from?
I just like it. I don't know. It's just kind of maybe a little rebellious side. I don't know. I love the circus, and I just think life's so much fun.
Did you go to the circus as a kid?
Actually, we did go.
A lot?
Just like once or twice. I remember going once, and I'm taking my kids. But it was like a Ringling Brothers circus, just your average everyday circus. I think it was in Knoxville when we were kids. My dad took us. Just characters. I always just loved the characters of the circus. The trapeze artists, and it's so adventurous. I just always loved that. And I remember seeing like the Elephant Man when I was pretty young, and seeing him in the circus, the sideshow part.
No.
And my heart was I just so brokenhearted watching that movie, and everybody was making fun of it, you know. And that
Yeah.
image stuck with me.
Did you get made fun of?
Did I?
Yeah.
I was always kind of chubby, yeah, at school. You know how kids say stuff. Some, yeah. Not so much, and I would never, like, let anybody know. It bothered me. Not too bad. Like, a lot of people had it way worse than me.
So I was going to ask you about your workspace. Where do you work?
I work in a little small studio that last Christmas, Chris fixed it up for me. We had like a gym. We turned this old horse barn into a gym on one side and my studio's on the other. So it's kind of set back in the woods, and I can just go up there and it's really quiet and there's no phone. I do have a TV there, but if I want to watch TV, I love it back there. It's just big enough for just me, and I really enjoyed having it there.
How far from the house?
It's about 3 or 4 miles, I guess.
Oh, so you drive, walk, what?
I drive up there, and sometimes I really like working at night, so a lot of times I'll go there and just stay all night. Stay up there and work till you sleep in and go home.
Is that right?
I always work better at night.
And it's a horse barn? Does it?
Well, it's really nice now. It's all finished on the inside, but just the original structure used to be. I don't even think horses were ever there very long, but it was built for that. But it's all finished on the inside now.
Is it on your property or your
Actually,
family?
it's on my family's property. It's up close to my parents' house, but they just, like, no one ever knows if you're there. You just pull up behind it, so you can be there and not a soul knows that you're up there.
Really? Do you have a phone? Oh, you take your cell
No phone up there, and I don't have cell phone service up there, so.
You don't?
Mm-mm. We don't have it at the house either, though, ATV. But it's just really neat, and I have a lot, Chris bought me a lot of furniture that has a lot of little shelves, and I've never had so much space to put my stuff, just organized in one building.
And do you work in a
great.
mess, or do you?
Oh, yeah, it's a mess. Always a mess. A lot of times I'll clean up before I start something new, but it's a mess again within hours.
Yeah. Huh. Well, so do you not work at home at all then?
Not so much anymore. Sometimes I'll bring it home, but it's actually a really good separation. I used to always work from a little studio in the house, but it's been better to have it outside the house. That way I can just focus on it.
Yeah.
You know, that's all the room is there for, is I can put my focus all in one place.